Can you do this? As early as your 40s, you may lose muscle and strength. Protein supports muscle health. Ensure Max Protein has 30 grams of high-quality protein to feed your muscles up to 7 hours. So take the challenge. Ensure.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. I'm Aaliyah Bryant. A special welcome to our viewers on TVJ International in the Cayman Islands and online at onespotmedia.com. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Jamaica secures record US $200 million hurricane catastrophe bond. Calls grow for stronger mental health support for children. And later in sports, Jamaica Premier League finalists to be decided today. Thank you for joining us. Now the details. Jamaica has secured $200 million in parametric hurricane insurance with a third catastrophe bond issued by the World Bank. The renewal of the CAT bond was facilitated through the World Bank's International Bank for Reconstruction and Development (IBRD) and marks the largest CAT bond the country has sponsored so far. It replaces the previous CAT bond that financed $150 million in coverage that was paid out to Jamaica following Hurricane Melissa, which hit the island in October 2025. In a statement yesterday, the World Bank said the transaction was oversubscribed by investors, which supported the upsizing of its initial target amount of $150 million. Now, the bank says the bond builds on the experience of the catastrophe bonds issued by it in 2021 and 2024. For the 3-year 2024 catastrophe bond, a full payout to Jamaica was triggered by Hurricane Melissa in 2025. The government and opposition clashed in the House yesterday over the non-tabling of the Integrity Commission's report on the Firearm Licensing Authority, FLA. General Perseus reports.
A walkout by the Parliamentary Opposition during the sitting of the House on Tuesday. Things got heated as the opposition leader Mark Golding continued to press for the tabling of the Integrity Commission's report on the Firearm Licensing Authority, FLA.
The whole purpose and objective of the Integrity Commission Act is thwarted and undermined if the work of the Integrity Commission, its investigative work culminating in its reports, are sent to Parliament and are not tabled on a timely basis. This is affecting the democracy of the country, the governance of the country, and the public have a right to see it. And we demand that it be tabled today.
There is absolutely no suppression, there is absolutely no undermining, and there's absolutely no infringement on our democracy.
The report in question is being challenged in court by the FLA. The House Speaker had previously argued the tabling was delayed as a result. Leader of Government Business Floyd Green went further.
The standing orders make it extremely clear that where there are matters under 16G5 that are likely to prejudice a case, 6G5, that are likely to prejudice a case which is under trial, and under 35(2), any matter on which a judicial decision is pending, then we are not to treat with that matter, or we prejudice the matter.
However, the opposition leader pointed to a similar situation involving PNP MP Ian Hales.
The question of Ian Hales' case is very relevant. The final ruling, the only substantive ruling in that case, was a reasoned and written judgment. And the court ruled that the Speaker of the House and the President of the Senate would have been acting intra vires, in other words, within their powers, by tabling the report submitted by the OCG, as it then was. Their actions would be categorized as Parliament conducting their internal affairs, and as such, their actions would be immune to the jurisdiction of the court. I find that the Speaker of the House and the President of the Senate were improperly joined to the application for leave as interested parties. It is abundantly clear that a public body like the FLA should not be able to throw a cloak of secrecy.
Mr. Golding would then walk out as Mr. Green attempted to respond.
What the leader of the opposition has said is that the court has indicated that it is in the purview of the Parliament. That is what the court has indicated. The court has not said that you must table. The court has said that the Parliament has the right to decide.
And after that, the Deputy Speaker pulled the plug on the discussion, even as members of the opposition attempted to weigh in. Dissatisfied, they then walked out. Janella Precious, TVJ News.
A new national survey is painting a complex picture of the Jamaican society, one where strong family values and the importance of education remain deeply rooted, but growing frustration over inequality and corruption is shaping how especially younger Jamaicans view success, justice, and survival. Anthony Atkinson has the story.
Crime and violence are issues Jamaicans know all too well. And following the recent fatal shooting by police in Granville St. James, questions continue to grow about fairness, opportunity, and the social conditions driving behavior across the country. The survey suggests that while many Jamaicans feel frustrated by inequality, most still reject taking the law into their own hands. But how exactly are Jamaicans perceiving what is happening in today's society? A new national survey examining the hearts and minds of the Jamaican people is now shedding light on those concerns. The study conducted by Market Research Services Limited was broken into two phases: the hearts of Jamaican people and the minds. Speaking at the survey presentation at S Hotel in New Kingston on Tuesday, businessman Howard Mitchell warned that despite Jamaica's economic progress, the country has failed to implement the social reforms needed to improve the lives of all Jamaicans.
Our identity flows from our culture, largely. And what a strong culture it is. What a raw, emotional, powerful culture. And it has propelled us in so many areas to greatness. And it has plunged us in so many areas into the depths of depravity. No society can be successful without the deliberate shaping of the values and the attitudes of the members of that society in the way that all of the members of the society come to a consensus that they want it to go.
The survey found that younger Jamaicans are increasingly willing to bend the rules and prioritize personal survival and advancement. Chief Executive Officer of Market Research Services Limited, Kishka K. Anderson, expounded on the findings.
And so we asked them, it's better to keep relations with people, even if they are wrongdoers, in order to belong somewhere rather than be alone. And the vast majority said, no, sir, I don't agree with that. But the fact that 13% of persons agreed with that is something to be concerned about. It's a minority, but that's over 10%. Now you do the maths. It's the adult population is about somewhere, I think about 1.8 or something like that. So at 13% of that, that's a lot of people we're talking about. And when we look at the persons who are more likely to agree that it's okay to hang with wrongdoers, just so that I can belong, they were typically the 45 to 54-year-old persons and those in the upper income groups. Interesting.
And despite frustrations about injustice, most Jamaicans reject vigilante justice, also known as jungle justice. The research also identified family as the most important value among Jamaicans, followed closely by children's education. The survey also highlighted continuing concerns about inequality in the education system, despite Jamaicans placing a high value on education and upward mobility.
Some of the girls are tripping over their uniform. That reminds me of Queen Victoria and the Victorian gender order. I noticed that some teachers are more concerned about taking the kinks out of the hair and not out of the brain, as Marcus Garvey said we should do. So the content of education, the conservatism in education that's creeping back, I'm very concerned about that.
Anthony Atkinson, TVJ News.
Can you do this? As early as your 40s, you may lose muscle and strength. Protein supports muscle health. Ensure Max Protein has 30 grams of high-quality protein to feed your muscles up to 7 hours. So take the challenge. Ensure.